Well, this is what we're talking about today. Hi, everyone. It's Sherri from Trail Wisdom Weekly and Trail Runner's Journey. And this is all about real talk for runners, walkers, and hikers who are interested in going in this for the long game, and not only long game of the race, but also long game of life. So, hey, you're in the right place. So, Cocodona 250, the race is over. And now, if you watch on Instagram and stuff like that, different athletes are talking about the recovery and how they recovered from 250 miles. Now, you might be thinking, well, I didn't run 250 miles. Yeah, but you do go through a more intense phase in your run training for whatever race you're running in. And it doesn't matter if it's a 5K or a 100 miler or a 200 miler. Their recovery needs to be built into the training plan. So what I'm going to go over today are different methods, different types of recovery, as well as options so you can look at and choose the right recovery for you. Now, note I said right recovery for you. Everybody has their opinions on what works for their body. And the whole thing is to choose what's right for you. There is no one set thing of how to recover properly and what's going to make your body feel like prime and be I'm going to say recovered again for the next race. So first of all, it depends on the terrain you're running on and the length of time, and also where you're at in your fitness. And I'll give you an example. Even though the downhill marathon I ran was a lot shorter than my 100 miles in Phoenix in the desert, I was more beat up after that downhill marathon than what I was after my 100 kilometers and even my 100-mile attempt. I was more beat up after that marathon. And why? It's because of the terrain. Not only the terrain, but how that race is run. Marathons are compressed. So it's the how to get done in the least amount of time. So it's pound, 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 pound. And yeah, I was totally beat up. So my recovery from that was a lot different and included more than what my 48-hour event or my 100-kilometer events. So that's taken into consideration. So let's back up a bit. And what actually happens during ultramarathons, during, say, any races of intensity and duration. And if you're running 5Ks or 10Ks, don't think you're not included in this, because it also is due to the intensity that you're running. First of all, any race is an emotional roller coaster. The longer it is, the more roller coasters you're on. And if you think about it, you get that adrenaline rush, you get the dopamine hit and oxytocin, and then you fall into the depression states of it as well, too. So it is an emotional roller coaster. It truly is. It's up and down and up and down, and you think you're in the world's biggest pit, and then all of a sudden you feel great. So it is an emotional roller coaster. Think about that and keep that in mind for after the race. Now, not what is obvious is nutritional depletion and dehydration. And dehydration could be due to not drinking. It also could be due environmental. One of the biggest factors for Arctic ultras is dehydration. And because you lose so much of your own hydration to the atmosphere, because it's that cold. So think about what weather conditions you're in. If it's hot, that's a different story than if it's hot and humid. And by the way, hot and humid you can be dehydrated in that too. And so anyway, think about your nutritional needs during that race. And of course, a 5K versus 250 mile, yeah, there's a lot different. There's a huge, huge difference in nutritional requirements for the races, but still, you do need nutritional recovery. Sleep deprivation, especially going into the nights, and it may be leading up to the race as well too. You might not be sleeping as well because of the fact you have more intensive training. But especially doing 100 milers that are going into the night. So we're talking about 48-hour races, 24-hour races, and races like 250 milers, you got sleep deprivation happening. And that also throws into the mix of an emotional roller coaster. Now, what is obvious is fatigue and muscle injury, and I'm talking about muscle breakdown. And because of the fact that you are going for a long distance, and for some people 5K could be a long distance, and depending on where they're at. So you've also got fatigue and muscle breakdown. That's what happens during the race. So when the race is over, now's the recovery that has to happen, so that you can go on not only on in your life, but also to your next race or next event. Now, recovery. Here it comes in what works for you, because and it depends. Some races you might need one thing, after some races you might need another, but you might get a set of recovery tools, and I'm going to say tools that really work good for you and that they're your fallback on. So I'm going to handle nutrition and hydration first, and I'm going to say the one thing is the eating and drinking. And I'm honest when I say this, a dangerous place for anybody to be after I've run an ultra is between me and a food source. Mhm. You The hungries set in, and it might not be that day, it might be the next day or the day after. But eat and drink according to what your body wants. And you might be looking, but I don't eat that. And I'm craving it. Do it. Do it. Your body has been depleted of nutrition, hydration, electrolytes. It, that bag of chips is calling you. Oh, for crying out loud, just go and have it. You're not gonna become addicted to it. It is you're feeding your body what it needs. And yeah, I always have Ruffles chips in my house. Do I eat them all the time? No. Mm-mm. But there's certain times, yeah, give me those chips. Because I want the fat, the salt, and the carbohydrates. I do. And of course, tagging in here, you also need salt, yes, and also protein. Particularly the longer the race is, the more protein that you need so that you can begin the muscle recovery, the muscle building back so your muscles can recover. And also carbohydrates to restore the glycogen. Your glycogen stores the longer the race, the more they've been depleted. So you need to actually fill those stores back up. So basically nutrition and hydration. You need the hydration to feel to actually feel normal again, really. And eat, it's no censoring. It's no censoring with the eat. And what's also obvious, especially if you've gone into the 24 hours and overnight, you need sleep. Now, there's a misnomer out there that say, well, yeah, well, I'll sleep when I'm dead. No, you won't. Mm-mm. You're dead when you're dead. Have you ever seen a dead body? They don't move. You're dead when you're dead. Sleep is a very, very highly active state. And what people don't realize, that's when your repair work is going on. Number one, human growth hormone is at its highest during muscle repair, and it's doing muscle repair. So that's happening when you sleep. Your memories are shifted from short-term memories into long-term memories. So basically, your short-term memories are washed and put into the long-term memory, so you're ready to go for the next day. You've got a blank short-term memory when you start the day. Immune system. This is when your immune system is most active, and it is for not only is it cleaning your body, but it's also fighting off whatever is coming along. Your liver, your gallbladder, your intestines, they're all working during the night. So actually sleep is a very highly active state. You think about your melatonin and serotonin balance. This is all being balanced out at night. Melatonin, yes, to fall asleep. Serotonin is also helps to keep you awake. So these are all happening during the night. So sleep is very important. Now, does this mean that after you're finished the race, you're gonna conk out and stay there for a long time? Not in my experience. My experience, it took me a while to be able to sleep through the night. I would sleep, wake up, and do that repeatedly. And also nap as well too. If you're feeling nappish, Yeah, get a nap. But sleep is highly important for recovery. And if you think about your own life as you have it now, are you getting enough sleep? Sleep is one of the biggest things for recovery and also feeling your best and also having your immune system being able to work at prime is sleep. Now, even though you might have finished a race and you're walking around like a pinched crab, movement is also good. Now, this is the part of active recovery. So, what could be known as active recovery? Now, there are a few people that do runs, easy runs the next day after the race. Personally, I don't, but you have to look at what's good for you and how you are feeling at the time. So it could be a walk, a hike, it could be a shuffle, and it also could be a light jog. But moving is actually good for flushing the muscles and have everything move so it's not just sitting there. Swimming and biking are also good, and so is yoga. Yoga is extremely good and extremely beneficial for not only mobility and strength, but also strength from the inside out. It's something that I have into my practice daily. And the whatever you do, the key word behind it is easy. Easy. This is not the time to go and run hard afterwards because you know what? If as much as you think your mind is in charge, your body. And I have experience with that is I after my downhill marathon, I was on a 5-day, staged race, and day 3, all of a sudden, my IT bands went, "Enough. Enough already." I woke up, my knees were aching, and my knees don't ache. So I talked to the sports medicine person that was there. She goes, "Ha! IT band, go have a bath." Which I did. So we're coming into passive recovery. So Epsom salt baths now, there's kind of like the opposite ends of things. They're like a hot bath and a warm bath. Now, I'm going to say, particularly in the temperature thing here, cold plunges, that may or may not be for you. Personally, I like a cool shower, as in a cool to getting cold shower. And I also like a cool to cold bath. I don't like an ice bath. It is too intense for me. And for being female, that is actually not uncommon because the way we lose sweat. Guys, their sweat glands open up and they dump sweat. Ours, what happens is we have increased circulation to the surface of our skin, and the sweat is let go through our capillary system. So ours is based on bloodstream, and guys, no, theirs isn't based on bloodstream, but go with the temperatures that are good for you. So infrared sauna, that is also very good. I noticed one of the athletes, he was going in between like a sauna and then a cold plunge, and he said it really worked for him. I'll go with what works for you. And then the thing that I like about a cool bath versus a cold bath, it's allowing that heat, the excess heat, because when you run a long distance or a very intense run or training, like let's say, for example, it's leg day, there's a kind of a throbbing going on in your legs. And what the cool bath does is help draw out the excess heat, the excess, so that you can go to sleep at night. So there is also something to look at, is that drawing out the excess, you're drawing out enough so that you can fall asleep. Because I've had it where I can't fall asleep because my legs are too hot or my legs are throbbing. So cool bath, that really helps. And Epsom salts has magnesium in it. And magnesium is one of the main things for muscle. That's one of the big muscle support. Smooth muscle is magnesium. So your Epsom salts, you're bathing in magnesium. Throw some sea salt in there. It's an amazing bath. And while you're at it, throw your favorite essential oils. So have a really good bath. It's nice and relaxing. And if you weren't sleepy, you are by the end of it. Other things to consider is massage, chiropractic. Do you need cupping on your IT bands? Whatever it is, go with what works for you. Massage, and even the type of massage makes a difference. Do you want the relaxing massage, the sports massage, something in between? Physiotherapy, absolutely. Like if you like that. I'm a big fan of chiropractic. And the reason I'm a big fan of chiropractic is I like my spine aligned, my neck, my spine, and my hips aligned. I could tell the difference in my gait as to whether my hips are in alignment or not. So for me, I'm a big chiropractor fan. So have a look and see what works best for you. Oh, and I forgot to mention supplementation. Increase some of the supplements that you are taking. And one of them is a possibility is magnesium, because you have pounded yourself out. So calcium, magnesium, and whatever supplements you take, it's not a bad idea to get extra immune support because you've just went through a strenuous event. Your immune system needs support. So look at your supplementation. Now, if you look at wow, that's a lot of recovery stuff there. You don't need everything. You really don't. You don't need everything, but you may find that some things you need after whatever it is. You might find one time you need more. You might need a massage after. You might need after. You might not need a bath. You might not need a cool bath. A cooler shower will do. It depends, but it's a good idea to have an arsenal so that you can go, oh, wait a minute, maybe I'll try this time. Or I mean, you know what? I'm good. I'm just going to eat. I'm just going to eat. Or the next time might be, man, I really got to get some infrared therapy. But the one other thing I'm also going to talk about is your mental health. After long races, and think about it, it's an emotional roller coaster. 50Ks, yes, emotional roller coaster. Marathons could be an emotional roller coaster, and so could half marathons as well. And even 5Ks, I have seen runners of where they come into a really tough spot. And I've seen it at a 7K road race and 7K trail race. And I talked this person through, and this person was feeling really down on herself. So after the race, and I don't care what distance this is, have something, number one, celebrate it. We're, and I can speak for myself, is like, yep, that's done. What's the next thing? No, pull back and stay in that moment. Stay in that moment of celebration, because it gives you a chance to really soak it in and be proud of yourself for what you did. After a race, go for a coffee with a friend, or look at, might be a movie that makes you laugh, or the latest whatever's out. Look at what makes you happy. Spend some time in nature. I know if you think, well, I was just how many hours in nature? Well, it's a different sort of nature. Let's see if the birds are singing somewhere else. But look at what really makes you happy. And it could be a treat. It could be, I don't know, a big chocolate cake or something. I'm a chocolate hound, man, chocolate hound. And there are certain things I like. A grapefruit rattler. That's one of my favorites, is a grapefruit rattler. Beer, but it's a grapefruit rattler for me. And look at what actually, is it a good latte that you like, or something like that. And a good practice is to journal your race. And this is really good because you get to go back over your race as to what worked. What worked? What went really well? What are you really, really proud of during that race? It also is a chance to look at what didn't go so well so you can improve for the next one. This is not a beat yourself up session. This is so that you can look at and go, how can I improve for next time? Because I don't care how good you run the race. You're always looking to improve, because you know what? Ultra runners are type A personalities. I know that one because I'm one. So when you look at each of your races, look at your medal again, look at your bib, look at any photos you took during the race. If you didn't take any photos, maybe that's something you should do during the race so you can go back and take a look. But look and focus as to what makes you happy, because after a race, especially the longer ones, there is that point of where the depression can set in. And one thing that is not uncommon with endurance athletes is because the races are so dopamine rich, so oxytocin and dopamine rich, pets. If you love a dog, go out and find yourself a dog, a cat. I have my chickens, but be around them because being around them does release oxytocin. And that's why a lot of times endurance athletes have dogs or have another pet that they can be around so that they get that drip feed of oxytocin. So, look what makes you happy. Look what makes you happy. It might be gardening, it might be doing, I don't know. It could be coloring. It could be coloring or whatever it is, but just immerse yourself in what makes you feel good. It's not being lazy. Don't even go there with that. It's not being lazy. It's just basically you've come through a really, really intense time. So how are you going to recoup? How are you going to balance yourself back out? And I know people don't like the word balance, but how are you going to have it at a homeostatic state? If you think about homeostasis, it's an equal. It is a balancing act. It is a teeter-totter, and the body will automatically go to homeostasis. So look at how you're going to do that. And basically, you're in it for the long game. And with a long game, it's not go hard all the time. And that's one thing is I see runners that do go hard all the time. They look at every race as being an A race. No, 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 no. Not all races are being A races. And that's where the difference in recovery comes in. Well, how are you going to be so that you are on top of your game for your next event, whether it's your next hike, your next long run, your next race? So I've given you a lot of information there on what recovery is, because recovery, well, what kind of recovery? You can look at, what do I need after my race? After you finish the race, well, what do I need? And it might not be 2 seconds after you cross the finish line. It might be after. It might go, I'm hungry, eat. I'm thirsty, well, drink. You know what? I need a massage. Get a massage. And get around people who treat you great, who celebrate your accomplishments, and who honestly think you're the cat's ass. Does anybody say that anymore? They honestly think you're pretty damn wonderful. So there you have it. There's your recovery, so you can have some information to chew on. And until next time, and by the way, next time is going to be one of the fellows who actually ran Cocodona 250. So we're going to have it on here of what his race was like and what he did. And it's from a 110-hour perspective of the whole thing that he went through. So stay tuned for that episode. It's coming up pretty quick. So in the meantime, have fun, get out there, get some trail, enjoy wherever you're at, and above all, be fantastic. See you next time.